What is up, coordinators and naturals? I am just a simple Newtype, and in this episode, we're returning to Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny Astray R. Last time, Lowe manufactured and sold a new tool called the K-Lid, which also functions as a weapon. Lowe helped out DSSD from Stargazer, and he went up against a fake red frame called the Violence Geist. This time, Lowe fights against Mina to show off the K-Lid. Double V does a test with an AI that goes horribly wrong, and Jess Rabble runs into the Blau Calamity. So let's get into this. We learned that Aminomi Hashida was originally designed to be the top of a space elevator, but once the war broke out, the project was abandoned. It also mentions that Mina and Gina are former members of the original Great Clan, and no longer a part of it. I wonder what happened. Mina already made her declaration of the sky. The gold frame has become the guardian of the sky. Lowe went to Mina regarding fake red frames, where she was more curious about the Ketelfuk. Lowe's red frame is also the new red dragon form. The MBF PO2 Gundam Astray Red Dragon is the red frame with an M1 Astray flight pack, the Drag head, and 3 Ketelfuks. The placement of the Ketelfuk resembles a dragon, which is where it got its name. The Drag head helps control the scattering mirage colloid capabilities of the Ketelfuk. This multi-purpose Ketelfuk tool still retains the welding capabilities until the limiters are taken off. It still retains the Gerbera straight and the hand plugs, which allow it to throw fireballs. Other weapons include a beam saber. Mina says let's do a mock battle, but with real weapons. Lowe says that's just a real battle, but she wants to test the Ketelfuk's full potential, and he trusts that she won't try to purposefully kill him. They don't account for freak accidents though. Lowe and 8 argue before they disperse mirage colloid particles. This forces the gold frame to show itself, but even when face to face, Mina is still a better fighter. But Lowe was able to dodge one of her attacks. She wonders how he did that. It is also the Mirage Colloid Disruption. It gives him a split second to know when someone moves. Mina moves back and disappears again. The Mirage Colloid spots movement. Lowe tries to dodge again as Mina uses the Magino Shida Hoko, not the Magashita no Hoko, which is on the wiki. You assholes. It's the shot lancer stored in the Makino Igitachi. Lowe wasn't able to dodge it. One Ketelfuk fires on Mina. The limiters are off. She was able to dodge. They complement each other mid-battle. Mina says it's a nice weapon. Lowe says no, not a weapon, a tool. Lowe is running defense after learning he's a weapons dealer now. So anyways, Lowe uses the Ketelfuk as a sword. You aren't helping your cause, man. He lunges towards the gold frame and takes it on with her beam saber. The Ketelfuk is able to slice through the beam saber no problem. This battle lasted an hour. Lowe was exhausted. Mina says that she wants to order 100 Ketelfuks. She plans on giving them to those who follow her declaration of the sky. Production on the Ketelfuk is slow as the Alliance constantly comes knocking on their doors as people use them as weapons. It'll be a while till Lowe could get that many to her. Mina suggests that they move production to Aminomi Hashida. Lowe says okay, and then passes out. He's all tuckered out. New mobile suits are being rolled out at Acteon Industries as a part of the Acteon project. One of these is Blue Calamity. The GAT-X131B Blau Calamity Gundam is actually made independently despite being a part of the Acteon project, and is developed by Double V. This is an enhanced variant of Calamity Gundam, but with double the armaments. It is too heavy, so the hover units are replaced with thrusters. Even though this is a long-range unit, it can handle itself in close-range situations. This is designed to be used with the team alongside a variant of Forbidden and Raider Gundam, and all 3 use the Trio system. This will also be installed with 80, an enhanced AI. Its main weapon is the Schlag 125mm high-energy long-range beam cannon built into the backpack. The Scylla 580mm multi-phase energy cannon is designed to wear down enemies with bombardment. Other weapons include an anti-beam shield which stores a pair of 115mm dual-ram cannons, and a combined shield with a Gatling gun. This was a part of the second phase of the GAT-X series. Double V is the one who happens to be in charge of this project. Dude really has a beef with Lowe. I'm excited for the end of the story where you two are best friends. Double V wants to replace natural pilots with artificial intelligence. He has an AI that tells him to calm down. Double V plans on showing off his new AI using a Euclid, a mobile armor used during the attack on Heaven's Base in Destiny. His bosses are all naturals and he can't stand trying to impress them. A mobile suit is rampaging near a top-secret military testing facility. They learn this is the Mars Jacket. It is piloted by a Martian. Lowe happens to be close by. He wanted to see Double V's testing, but Lowe helps the Martian. It happens to be Diego. Lowe is in the powered red unit. Diego is still fanboying out about Lacus. Lowe is able to calm down Diego, no problem. Now he wants to go check out that weapons test. You gotta sign an NDA though. Lowe tries to sell the Kalidfug to the military, but they don't want it. However, Diego shows interest in it. While showing off the weapon, an explosion goes off. The AI in the Euclid went rogue. It has the Schneider Schutz, which is a positron reflector shield. They need to pierce it with something with anti-beam coating. More Euclids start to emerge. Lowe has to be careful not to kill the pilots. Someone comes over the comms and says there are no pilots. It's an artificial intelligence. They're starting to work together, and the AI is replicating. It's Double V himself. This is what was being tested. He and Diego move into action. 8 sends out a message to the rehome in Earth orbit that says, "Bring it down." Something giant falls from the sky. It is the 150 Gerbera. The sword is so sharp it didn't cause heat from friction during re-entry. He swings the 150 Gerbera and begins slicing through them. Their beam shields are useless. On Earth, the Euclids just hover on the ground, and they form a single line, which helps. Double V is mad that his AI has a flaw. He lies on his reports to the Eurasian Federation. He still wants to get his hands on 8. And that ends the Kalidfug arc. Now we move on to the Turn Red arc. Jess Rabble is still using the Astray Outframe D made by Lowe. Jess knew about the Kalidfug as it was getting quite popular. He also knows that it is being used as a weapon. He feels that as a journalist he doesn't need one, but Lowe says he should use it and review it honestly as a journalist. Lowe modified this version of the Kalidfug with a gun camera built into it. He decides to take it. Later he is on a job when he runs into Mercs. They seem to be working with the Eurasian Federation, called Sir Knight, using a modified goof ignited. He dressed as a knight, and no one saw his real face. He also doesn't have a Zaft accent. The goof also has a Kalidfug. Jess got information from an informant who doesn't like him, which I assume is Kenneth Lucchini. He tries to ask for an interview, but is denied. He definitely comes off as a deserter. Then he worked on the city to try to report on Sir Knight. But Jess had to film from the outskirts of the city. Jess is patient and plays the waiting game. He then spots the goof out in the wild and begins filming. His new Kalidfug gun camera is far superior from the old one. The goof begins attacking a target. It happens to be the new Blau Calamity. Jess says that this fight is getting bad. He has to get involved. He interjects and tells them to stop fighting. The goof slips into a hole. Then Calamity begins lobbing missiles towards the mobile suit. Jess notices Sir Knight bailing out of his goof. He points his Kalidfug camera at the new mobile suit. Jess notes it is a variant of the Calamity, but something feels off. Calamity tells him that he isn't piloting the mobile suit. "I'm just watching my AI handle business." Because of enjammers, he must be close by. It is Double V. He tells Jess to tell Lowe of the existence of the Blau Calamity and that his name is Valerio Valeri. Then he takes off. Jess is confused but hopes Lowe has answers. But first, he needs to interview Sir Knight. Jess shows the footage of Double V to Lowe and he says, "Who the hell is this?" Even though he planned hits on him, he never met him face to face. Lowe realizes he has an enemy. Who hates Lowe? He's loved by everyone. Development was frozen on Double V's projects. If he had 8, he would be able to integrate it into his systems. Testing on Calamity is complete, so it's time for the next unit. It is the Gelb Raider. He also wants to create the Forbidden Vortex, but waits on that unit until he has the green light. He tests out Calamity in the simulator. He believes that a simulation is good enough data and doesn't care too much for real-life experience. He fights against the Strike Noir. Double V is able to simulate the pilot of the Strike Noir as well, which means he has data on Sven from Stargazer. He almost loses and pauses the simulation. He couldn't believe it. He shrugs it off and then adds the Gelb Raider to the simulation. The GAT-X131B Gelb Raider Gundam is a variant of the Raider full spec rather than the original Raider, and is a transformable mobile suit. This picks up the speed where the Blau Calamity lacks. This unit disrupts enemy attacks and is equipped with an enhanced version of the spherical breaker called the Super Mjolnir. It is all about hit and run attacks. This has twice the firepower and thrust of the base Forbidden. Like Double V's other units, this has the Trio system and the 80 AI system. Other weapons include the Zorn 100mm energy cannon, a hyper velocity cannon, a shield cannon which has the firepower of a Legau's cannon, a short-range plasma cannon, autocannons, and a railgun. He is very arrogant to think that he could take a Gelb Raider and the Strike Noir at the same time, even though he can't even take on one. This time around, the two mobile suits don't work well together, and he is able to win in the simulation. He stops sim training and does some research. Double V learns that Zaft forces are working on AI. He doesn't understand why coordinators rely on AI systems as they are superior. Aren't you working on AI? Bro, I don't understand where your anger is directed at. And that will do it for this episode. After being a sneaky rat working in the shadows, Double V made himself known to Lowe. You ever win at a video game by a fluke and then randomly win, only for you to never reproduce that again? This is just what happened to Double V, but he claims it as superiority rather than a statistical fluke. This is Double V's weakness that will lead to his downfall. Next time, we conclude Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny Astray R. We learn more about the Trio system as well as the 80 AI system. We break down Turn Red, and the Junk Guild runs into Destiny Impulse while on a junk mission. But that will do it for now, Newtypes. Remember, if you hate someone and want to fight them, maybe make sure they know of your existence to begin with. Peace.